Now what's the next topic? You can say how to develop a Java based web application. So for that we are following 4 steps. What is the first step? You can say creating a structured hierarchy of directories. So what do you mean by creating a structured hierarchy of directories? We have to see. Okay. So first thing, we are creating a root application, root folder. We are creating a root application or root folder in the web apps of the server. Web apps of the server. Now, what you can say, we are having, say, the application name. I want to develop an application known as Welcome Servlet. What is the application? So, what I'll write? Welcome application. I'll write. Welcome application, right? Next, this root application folder consists of a main folder known as what you can say webinf, that must be written in capital letters, and the hyphen must be present. Okay, and this is the rule. So each and every root application must and should contain webinf, because servlet engine or the servlet engine searches for the webinf. Okay, so next in the root application it will first search for the webinf. In this webinf we are having 2 more folders. What are those? You can say first is classes folder. It must be in lowercase itself, and there is no spaces between that. And one more folder known as lib, library files. Okay, say if I want to connect to the particular JDBC Oracle, through JDBC I want to connect to the Oracle. So what's that library file we have used? OJDBC 14.jar file, right? Next, we are having one more file. Now it's a file. Whatever we are writing in the boxes are the folders. And whatever I am writing outside is nothing but the files. So what I am writing? Web.xml file. What I have written? Web.xml, right? Next, what does that root application consist of? Files. What are the files you are having? So what you can say here, one more thing, classes, lib, and this particular web.xml, right? Now the particular root folder also consists of some files. What are the files you are having? Say first you can say it as .html files. What you can say? .html files, .css by JavaScript files, .javascript files, images. What is that? Images, fine, and .jsp files. All the helper files are placed in this particular root folder itself. Then in the web.xml we are writing the configuration file. In the lib folder we are placing the library files. In the classes folder we are placing the .class files. What is that? You can say here .class files, and here library files, right? And in that what you are writing? Configuration, right? Configuration information is in this web.xml. Is this point clear? So first step is what? Creating a directory structure creating a directory structure of the particular servlet root application, right? So we have to create this now. Understood? So how you are creating this? In the web apps, we have to create a particular application known as, yes, welcome application, right? This is the root folder. So what is that welcome application? The root folder present in the web apps. For a one interactive website, you can have one root application. One root application. This root application consists of what you can say? Web-INF. What is the first thing it consists of? Web-INF. So you have to write a web-INF, right? And this web-INF consists of what? Classes and lib folder. So what is that you can say? Classes, and one more thing is known as lib folder, right? Now one more thing is what? You can say web.xml, and we don't require the particular HTML, CSS, images or JSP for this particular welcome application. So we are not writing any of these files, and for this we are not communicating with the database, so we don't require any library files. What we require? Web.xml and a classes. Web.xml and a classes folder, right? So already we have written a class. Yes or no? So what is the class written by us? My servlet. Implements the servlet. But we have to process something, right? We have to generate something. We have to display something onto the output. Yes or no? In the console, if you want to display, we used to have a method known as system.out.println of the class known as printstream. In the same way, in the browser, if you want to display, we are having a class known as printWriter. What is the class? printWriter class, which is present in java.io.printvwriter IO package, right? And what you can say, this printWriter class consists of a method known as println. What is the method? Println, right? So here, what you can say, I want to call this particular method, but without the object of printWriter, can you call this particular println method? No, right? Already we are having a factory method for this particular println. Where is that factory method is present? Is nothing but java p space javax dot servlet response. In this servlet response, we are having a method known as getWriter. What is the method? getWriter, whose return type is what? printWriter. Whose return type is what? printWriter, right? So this particular method is present in what? Servlet response. Servlet response is having a method known as what? getWriter. Now if I want to call this particular getWriter, we require the object for servlet response, right? But already the particular servlet engine is generating this particular object for servlet request and servlet response and calling the service method. So in this already we have the response object, right? Just by using the response object, we can call the getWriter, right? Whose return type is what? printWriter. printWriter present in which package? IO package. So the first thing what you have to do, import java.io.printvwriter, right? Understood? Now if you want to display anything onto the browser, we write the HTML code, right? So in this println, we are writing the HTML code itself. So for that, what you can say, HTML tag is opened. In that we have the body tag where bg color, what I am taking, wheat, okay, to set the background color. Next, what you can say, I am opening a tag known as center, and in that h1 heading 1, heading 1, close it. Again I am writing what out dot println. What is the first thing you can say? Welcome to servlets. Welcome to servlets. Right? Next, closing this part, we have to close the tags, right? So the HTML tags are closed in the reverse order. As you know, first h1 tag must be closed. Next, center tag must be closed. Next, body tag must be closed. Next, HTML tag must be closed. Right? Yes or no? Then after this, out dot println, you can say out dot close. Completion of that particular message. After that, you can say out dot close. So this is the thing we are writing in the service method by using the print writer object. Clear? Yes or no? Now we have to save this file. What's the file name? My servlet. So don't type the file name, just copy this. Okay, then file, save. In this particular Apache Tomcat web apps, we have a welcome application. In that welcome application, web-inf, in the classes folder, place this particular myservlet.java file. Myservlet.java file, right? So we are having the Java file, right? But what we have to require, we require the dot class, right? So how to compile this part? Just copy the path. Next, in the command prompt, fdrive cd, right click, paste the path, then java c space myservlet.java, right? Then what you are getting? MyServlet is not abstract, it does not override the abstract method destroy, because we haven't written this destroy clearly. What is the spelling here? It's actually destroy. Clear? Now java c space myservlet dot, what is it saying? Cannot find IO exception, because we have to import the IO exception also. Import java.io.io exception, right? Save this file, then again compile. So when you compile, what will be generated? A dot class file is generated, right? Now for this dot class file, we have to write a configuration file. We have to write a configuration file. So how to write a configuration file? We are writing a web.xml. What are you writing? Web.xml. So in this web.xml, what do you have? We have three things. In this web.xml, we have three things. First is what? Registration name. Okay. Second thing is what? Servlet class. Servlet class. Third is what? URL pattern. URL pattern. Now, how to write this particular web.xml? First, you will be having a tag known as web app. Web app is a tag. In that, you have to write the servlet tag. The first thing is what? Registration name, right? So here, servlet name, a registration name. So what is our application? Welcome servlet, right? So I am writing as welcome as the servlet name. So open tag and close tag, it must be done. Next, servlet class. Servlet class. What is the servlet class? Don't type that class name. Try to copy it. Here, copy that particular class. Then paste it. Right? Then close the tag. Servlet class. Servlet class. After that, close the servlet tag. Now we are writing another tag known as servlet mapping. What is it? Servlet mapping tag. Okay. So why we are writing the servlet mapping? from the browser, if you are giving a URL, that URL is taken by the servlet engine, and that servlet engine searches for the servlet mapping tag. In that we will be having first registration name. So just copy that registration name same as servlet tag. The registration name of the servlet mapping and the servlet tag must be same. Then we have to write a URL pattern. URL pattern is nothing but slash whatever that name you want to give, you can give, right? So what's the name you want to give? So first you can say welcome. Again you can say welcome app, or you can say welcome app. Okay. Next, close the URL pattern. Close the URL pattern, right? Then close the servlet mapping tag. Servlet mapping tag. Okay. Yeah, the slash must be there, right? Next, we have to close the web app. Okay, and this web.xml must be saved in the root folder, root application. In the web.inf, we have to save the web.xml, and the file name must be web.xml itself, and it must be in the small letter itself. Okay, save this particular web.xml, and whether this particular web.xml is written correctly or not, if you want to check, right click, open with the Internet Explorer. Right click, open with Internet Explorer, right? If you are getting the code as what you have written, the same thing if you are getting means the web.xml is written correctly. Suppose in this particular scenario, if I am just missing a particular slash, right? And now if I open this particular with Internet Explorer, what you are getting? Welcome my servlet, welcome. So some problem is there in the web.xml. You can rectify this by opening the web.xml in the web browser. Then if you rectify that particular mistake, just keep the slash again, save it. Okay, then open this with this particular Internet Explorer. What will happen? You get the entire code as it is. Is this point clear? So whatever the changes you are making, or if you are writing the web.xml correctly, the code will be shown correctly in the Internet Explorer, right? Yes or no? Now the entire thing is done here. We have written the root application, web.inf, class file is generated, and the web.xml is written. Now what you have to do? We have to run the server. We have to run the server in Apache Tomcat root folder. We are having a bin folder. In this bin you will be having Tomcat 7 and Tomcat 7W icons. In that we have to run this particular Tomcat 7 icon. Just double click it. So what you can say, in Apache Tomcat you will be having a bin folder. In that Tomcat 7 icon, just double click it. Then the server is starting, and if there any mistake is there in the particular web.xml, you can see it in the server also. Okay, so after running the server in the browser, we have to type a particular path. So what's the path you have to type? It is nothing but the URL. So what is the path you are typing is nothing but first http://localhost:/port number. How to check the port number is nothing but in the server you will be having HTTP bio, that number is 8088, right, when you run the server. So that is the port number 8088 slash the root application. What's the root application? You can say here in a web apps, you're having the root application known as welcome application. Copy this and paste it, right? And you have a URL pattern, right? In the web application, you are having the web-inf. In the web.xml, you are having the URL pattern, right? Copy the URL pattern. Copy the URL pattern and paste it. Okay. Next, only one slash is required, right? Paste it. Just copy the entire path, right? After that, what you can say, the classes contains the dot class file. The classes contains the dot class file, right? So in the browser, what I am doing, I'm just pasting this particular path and just say enter. Then the particular server is running our application. The URL pattern is given. That URL pattern is taken by the Servlet engine. Servlet engine will take that particular URL pattern and search for the root application. From the root application, it will go for the particular web-inf. In that, it will search for a folder. In that, it will search for a file name as web.xml, right? Okay, it's taking .com actually. Connecting to the particular, what you can say, type the particular HTTP localhost colon 8088 port number, root application, and that particular URL pattern, right? Copy the entire path. Then in the browser, paste it. Just say enter. Then you will get this particular welcome to Servlet. Actually, what is happening? Say in this web.xml, first we are having this web.xml, right? Next, we are having the path. What is the path? You can say here, this is the path, right? So in the web.xml, you type this particular path. Fine. So when you type this thing, the Servlet engine will take from the root application to the particular URL pattern, and it will search for the web apps. In the web apps, it will search for the application known as welcome application. When it finds this particular welcome application, then it will take this particular URL pattern. Is the URL pattern is taken now, and it will search for the Servlet mapping tag. It will search for the Servlet mapping tag first. So when it finds the Servlet mapping tag, okay, the first step it will search for the Servlet mapping tag. It will search for this particular welcome app, right? URL pattern. If it's matching, then it will take this particular Servlet name, registration name will be taken. Registration name will be taken. This is the third step. After taking the registration name, it will search for the Servlet tag. It will search for the Servlet tag, right? Next, in this fourth step, then it will search for the Servlet name, same as the particular registration name of the Servlet mapping. So that's the reason they most must be same. They both must be same, right? After that, it will take the Servlet class. It will take the Servlet class, and then it will go for the particular web-inf. In that classes, it will take the Servlet class, whatever it's matching with this particular class you have written here. So this is what executing a servlet. Okay, first what you have written, the root application. In that web-inf, classes my servlet you have written, again you have written a web.xml, right? Clear?